In 1948, Israel displaced 70% of the Palestinian people. 19 years later, Israel started its colonial enterprise in the West Bank, including East Jerusalem and the Gaza Strip. 21 years later, the Palestinians made a historical compromise that required accepting Israel's existence over 78% of historical Palestine. On November 15, 1988, Yasser Arafat, in line with relevant UN resolutions to the conflict, declared the independence of the State of Palestine on the territory Israel occupied in 1967. In 1991, at the height of the First Intifada, the Palestinian leadership confirmed its serious intention to achieve peace by accepting the platform of the Madrid Peace Conference. Assurances were given by US and European officials that the endgame of the peace process was the vision of two states, Palestine and Israel, on the 1967 borders. In September 1993, the PLO officially reaffirmed the two-state solution by signing the Oslo Interim Accords. The Oslo Accords set a time frame of 5 years for the transition from occupation to independence. The PLO agreed to negotiate over final status issues, while Israel gradually withdraws from the land it occupied in 1967, allowing for the establishment of Palestine as a state on the ground. And so, the Palestinian National Authority was first established in Gaza and in Jericho, and gradually, Israel transferred control of some areas to the PNA. In 1995, an Israeli terrorist assassinated Israel's Prime Minister Yitzhak Rabin. Rabin's elected successor Netanyahu led an unprecedented process of colonization throughout the West Bank, including East Jerusalem. In 1996, Netanyahu initiated a project of digging tunnels beneath Al-Aqsa Mosque. This act of deep provocation targeted the Palestinians and the entire Muslim and Arab world. 1999 was the year when, according to the interim period, Palestine was supposed to declare its independence. President Yasser Arafat hoped to seek international recognition of the independent state of Palestine at the United Nations, but the international community advised him to give the newly elected Israeli Prime Minister, Ehud Barak, a chance to make peace. But Barak, like Netanyahu, simply pressed on with a unilateral policy of colonization. Urged by years without final status negotiations, the US administration pushed for the Camp David talks of July 2000, which resulted in another Israeli attempt to destroy the remaining chances for peace. Barak's supposedly generous offer gave no control for Palestine over its borders, divided Palestine into 4 separate cantons surrounded by Israel, rejected full Palestinian sovereignty over East Jerusalem, and openly dismissed the rights of the Palestinian refugees. 2 months later, Ariel Sharon, in coordination with the Israeli government, invaded Al-Aqsa Mosque compound, igniting the Second Intifada, the Palestinian popular uprising. In 2001, Israel started to construct the annexation wall inside the West Bank territory. It's double the length of the Green Line, and over 80% of it is built on Palestinian lands. In 2002, Israel invaded the Palestinian cities in a full-scale military operation that resulted in the destruction of Palestinian civilian and security infrastructure. Yet we again opened the door to peace, this time together with the entire Arab world. In its Beirut Declaration of 2002, 57 Arab and Muslim countries endorsed the Arab Peace Initiative for a just and lasting peace. There was no official Israeli reply, but the reality of continued colonization and a new wave of destruction on the ground confirmed the rejection of this initiative. In April 2003, the Quartet publicly released a performance-based roadmap to reach a permanent two-state solution. Again, Israel failed to honor its obligations and continued its illegal colonial settlement expansion. In 2005, Israel unilaterally withdrew from the Gaza Strip, turning it into an open-air prison. Yet another attempt at peace, the Annapolis Conference of 2007, aimed to set a definite deadline of 1 year for all final status issues to be resolved once and for all. But a year later, Israel waged an aggressive assault on the Gaza Strip, 1,417 Palestinians were killed, including 116 women and 313 children. Most recently, in May 2010, Palestine and Israel engaged in proximity talks that were supposed to lead to direct talks. But once again, Israel chose colonialism over peace, increasing settlement activity, particularly in and around occupied East Jerusalem. The supposed road towards peace with Israel has been paved with illegal colonial settlements, military checkpoints, walls, wars, and more. Israel has continuously rejected peace and instead adopted illegal policies to entrench its occupation, creating a system of apartheid in the process. To open a new political horizon, the PLO went to the United Nations in November 2012, where an overwhelming majority of the world recognized the state of Palestine on the 1967 borders. Israel once again responded with more illegal colonial settlements and further aggressive policies against the people of Palestine. Another new year has begun, with Israel violating all of its international obligations. We do not need another 20 years of negotiations. We need a clear political will in order to implement UN resolutions and international law. We need to end decades of Israeli impunity, beginning with the implementation of previous agreements. Negotiations cannot continue to be used as camouflage for colonization and segregation, but as a peaceful way to end decades of occupation leading to two sovereign and democratic states, Palestine and Israel. Negotiations is not about getting to a process, it's about getting to peace.